college here to stay or go? What's happening with enrollment and tuitions skyrocketing? And we're in a recession economy and wages aren't going up to counter the ridiculous price tag that comes along with signing on.
Bring it on!
Welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. I'm Farley Boyle, girl mom.
And I'm Jennifer Brenius, boy mom.
Together, we're Team Boyle-Renius. Each other's ride
or die. This is where grit gets real. We don't just talk, we do it.
We're here for the messy stories, the hard-fought lessons, and the courage it takes to keep showing up.
Especially when it's uncomfortable. We bring gratitude and attitude to everything we do.
We jump in head first, unafraid, and are all in all the time.
We bring it on and get it on, diving into unscripted conversations on just about everything.
We don't just talk grit, we live it.
We put the it in grit.
So let's get gritty.
Welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. I'm sitting here with my favorite co-host, Farley, and we are bringing it from Bring It On Studios. And I have to say, I'm still missing the Winter Olympics is always the best. And I want to keep talking about it and reveling in everyone's successes and the fun we had.
I think that's because you're looking out my window and it feels like we're in Milan on the ski slopes.
Well, I mean,
we've the amount of snow.
The amount of snow is a story in itself.
We had one heck of a weekend. Local pub, good old Val's, our local Cheers, by word of mouth, decided to open at 8:00 in the morning. And we all piled in that joint.
It was packed
to watch USA men's hockey. And it was the perfect backdrop to watch what we all watched together. It's our local watering hole where we go for all sports. But my kids growing up, that was our place that we go after a game to get pizza with the team. And we had several of our banquet ceremonies upstairs. So it's just the perfect place to have watched. It hasn't happened since Miracle in 1980.
When we got there, we were one of very few women because we are gritty.
Yes.
And all you have to do is tell us to show up. And we are there with bells on, ready to celebrate and party and support.
I will post a photo of Jen. I was not in my USA regalia because I knew that my husband was representing as well as Jen. So we'll go ahead and post a picture so you can feel it.
We can justify just about anything.
Yes, we can.
And let's justify our top three.
Some of these are hard to justify. Number 3, 2 IDs required to remove snow and get paid by the state of New York, and 0 IDs needed to vote and throw snowballs at our police officers in good old NYC.
NYC is continuing to have record storms and snow issues. And I think this is interesting because you don't need an ID to vote. That's the bigger issue. Wherever you fall on whatever ID you need to get paid by the city or the state, I think that's fair. I need to know who I'm paying. You have to pay taxes. You need a social security number and identification to do so. But the fact that people don't recognize that this is a nonpartisan issue, that if I want to go see a relative, I need to show ID and I need a real ID, which takes a lot of effort to get.
To vote for a president or government official, you don't need to show your ID.
It's kind of crazy.
And Mondami, I wish he wore some snow in the face. Imagine if he got pelted with snowballs and somebody came and crowned the top of his head and it went viral on social media.
And here's the other thing about the snowball fight. Let's respect those in public service, whatever they're doing, whether
1,000%.
they're a police officer or trash removal or snow removal. Everybody's trying to do their job the best that they can. And nobody should be pelted by anything. I don't care if
it's embarrassing.
And snow can hurt. Let's be honest.
Oh, you pack it hard enough. It depends on the snow quality and you can drill somebody. I took somebody's front tooth out. Yeah.
She's gritty.
Well, I packed a really hard ball.
Yeah. Well, that's what you do. Can't help yourself.
I was one of the only girls running with the boys.
As always.
Number 2, Trump chirps in the Team USA men's locker room and cries foul for Team USA women.
Okay. President Trump, you need to think before you speak. And you need to understand that women won the gold equally as men. And you're not doing us any favors by inviting us. Treat women as you do men. Treat men as you do women.
You have a granddaughter that is a ridiculously accomplished golfer And let's just talk about Ivanka. What can't she do? Yet you're going to make some stupid, careless comment to try to be a guy's guy. And you sounded like a toolbox when you said, oh, we're going to have to invite the ladies, and if I didn't, I might get impeached. What the hell?
We need to stand up for all the accomplishments women make every single day, not just at the Olympics.
We're making strides every day here. Caitlin Clark. And then the president of the United States decides just to take us down a notch. Yeah. So unnecessary and so dumb. And I voted for him.
Yeah. Well,
I did.
And here's the other issue. We're not trying to take anything away from the men. I'm not mad at the men. I'm psyched for the men.
They weren't going to say, hey, Mr. Trump, you said something wrong. They weren't going to stick up for the women in that moment. They're celebrating.
And you're not going to go against the president of the United States after you just won a medal.
And they shouldn't have to. They know their relationship with the women's team. It was a stupid, chauvinistic, sexist moment that was highlighted.
Yeah, well, this is the problem. Everything you say and do is tweeted and on social media. We are listening. Please think about what you say before you speak.
True. Number one, Meta might be in mega trouble.
Ooh, I hope so. For those of you that don't know what's happening with this Meta trial in California, they're calling it a bellwether trial. They're going against Meta, not for the third-party content. They hide behind a 1996 law that says they're not responsible for what other people post. What they're actually going against is the fact that they have engineered this platform to become like a casino mindedness, to get you addicted, to keep you on the site. And this is the first time that they think they potentially could win. And Zuckerberg was quaking in his boots.
And if they win, there's 1,200 more lawsuits lined up, ready to go. So all it takes is one monumental win for the team, and the rest of the bandwagon can jump on and cite the same claims.
And other platforms, which is not admissible in court, already took a plea deal beforehand and actually paid out and settled.
I.e. TikTok.
Many millions.
They created a very scary, addictive platform, and it's tipped into everything. Now it's not just social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's not just keeping your streak. It's everywhere, and it just keeps growing and growing, and somebody has to own responsibility. And I guarantee you that Zuckerberg's kids are not exposed to it. Everybody that was involved at the early stages has removed their kids from it, and that should say it all.
Well, we shall see. California is going to hopefully be the one that's going to hold them accountable, and hopefully then we can get some indicators and controls to make sure our kids are not getting on these social platforms like they've done in other countries.
I think it's very clear across the board, looking at test scores in high school, test scores to get into college, because they're using AI and they're cheating and they're not socializing and they're not reading. And there's just so many shortcuts that are available. And there's a problem, and it needs to be addressed. Mm-hmm. And there needs to be repercussions. Kind of leading us into this episode, is college here to stay or go? What's happening with enrollment and tuitions skyrocketing? And we're in a recession economy, and wages aren't going up to counter the ridiculous price tag that comes along with signing on for college. That's what we're going to be discussing today.
Having gone through the college process now with 3 of my 4 boys, is the colleges that kids apply to has become more competitive and easily to apply, thanks to things like the Common App, thanks to your ability to cut and paste and take things from an application here and put it over there. And that has accelerated the entire process. And what people are starting to recognize, that the college reward, after you've spent somewhere in upwards of $250,000 to send
the ROI
to college, what are they getting out of it? And what are they learning? And it used to be somebody who got a college degree that really meant something, that meant you took the classes and had the aptitude. And now we're recognizing, because of COVID and because of technology, those two things combined, a lot of the classes are virtual or asynchronous. And there is not that accountability of showing up for a class and looking a teacher in the eye and being able to articulate your point of view. It's all done almost virtually.
Why am I sending my child to Ohio State to take virtual classes? You're away, you're in Columbus, Ohio, and you should march to your classes and get to know your professor and sit in a room and make ways with the people that sit next to you and have study groups on some level. And it just is not that way in a lot of her classes. Yeah. And I question, I'm like, why all this tuition to have her do something online? Now, obviously being an athlete, sometimes it makes sense. They're on the road, they have crazy schedules, and I totally am on board with that. But I'm not on board with my child going to college and not leaving her dorm room or her apartment to go to an in-person class. It just defeats the purpose. And
well, the other part is that there's no tuition difference if you take the class in person or virtually. And that makes no sense. If you have an experience where you're at a building in a facility, they have to turn the lights on, they have to have heat. There's a cost with that. If I'm at my own home, you don't have any of those costs. So how can we justify spending the same amount of money, credit per credit, when you're not having the same experience and you're not having the social interaction that comes with learning? That's the bigger problem that we're having with virtual school and ChatGPT.
Participating in a Zoom does not mean that you're in a class setting. You're on a Zoom. You can even turn your camera off. You can tune out. Being present, it holds you accountable. There's a vested interest. You've got to walk in. He's taking roll, and you have to be present X amount of days, or you fail if you don't show up for X amount of days. Not log on. Show up in person. 4-year degrees are no longer a clear path to success, unfortunately. And it seems as though even the smaller schools are bumping up their number, because the middle school is bumping up their number, because the big school is in that $70,000 to $80,000 league right now. And that's the norm, new norm.
And I think that's why the trends are showing that a lot more kids are attending the public 4-year schools or even moving to community colleges. And California has this model where you go to a 2-year community college at your base 100 and 200 level classes, and then you move to a state college that is a 4-year institution. And the cost of that is less than half.
Staying in state, obviously, is very affordable. That's the
Correct.
reason, they entice you to go in that direction.
Correct. And not everybody is meant to go to the 4-year school immediately anyway. But like you said earlier, the cost and the return on investment, how much I'm spending, if you're going to spend $250,000, especially now moving into the trades where so many people are saying, well, the trades are going to be insulated from the AI. If I give my kid $250,000 to invest in a business and to invest in the trades, then I might be ahead of somebody that spent their time boozing it up, partying it up, and really not gaining any aptitude in a 4-year environment.
Just think if it's a student that had to incur debt because they have a loan. So now they have a $250,000 loan so that they can say they went to school. Is it bragging rights? Is it a status symbol? It used to be an automatic, you go to high school and you're going on to college. And now it's a thought. And kids are getting out of college with big debts, and they're not getting the job that's going to allow them to chip away at that debt accruing interest. And I feel like they're upside down and underwater, not to mention the parents that also have the loan obligation. So it's a very scary situation. They're saying, college isn't going to disappear, but the Gen Zers are walking in a different direction, and the restructuring that needs to happen is the real conversation here. And, trade schools, HVAC, plumbing, electricians, tech certifications, obviously anything that has to do with AI, apprentices, these are all recession proof.
Yeah.
There's always a need. And right now at the moment, AI can't do those jobs yet. At the moment, I could be wrong.
All majors, all industries, all businesses, when it applies to our kids and moving into the next level of where they're going to be at post-college, postgraduate, AI is affecting everything across the board. And technologically, usually affected one aspect. The automotive industry, when the car took over the horse, it only affected the cars, and then it was a trickle. This, unfortunately, is more of a broad-based situation.
They can write, they can code, they can design, they can analyze.
ChatGPT, I mean,
what can it do?
It can do everything. And if that's what we know it can do, and I say this all the time, if I can see what it can do for me and how it can harness in the power of knowledge and education, intellect, and it can formulate a very well thought out position on something, that is different than what you used to have to do. You used to have to go research, form your opinion, articulate your situation, and now that's all curated for you. You used to be going to college so you could formulate all of that. And if you're not going to college anymore to formulate that at the cost of $250,000 plus, what are we going to college for?
Google, IBM, and Apple, they're skill-based hiring instead of seeking people with degrees. So they're looking to hire people that have a specific skill set, and you can go get certificates really easily for the most part. Skills can be learned faster and are cheaper. So if that's the direction that you're going in, then figure out, hone your skills, know what you're really good at, and go to a trade school or go get a certificate in that particular skill. Going to work, they teach you what you need to know. That's what I said to my daughter, who was not a finance major. She went to college and she graduated, interned for 2 years in a financial institution, but was a communications major. She felt completely out of place because she couldn't walk the walk and talk the talk. She could not code and wasn't techie and wasn't familiar with the financial language. But she went from desk to desk and learned what each desk does. And therefore, she was taught. And now she is working in a finance institution without a finance degree, and she is holding her own, and she's trading, and she had to take tests that she never thought she'd be able to pass. I truly believe that we were created by somebody much more intelligent than the people that are creating computers.
But we have to acknowledge the fact that we're in the beginning of this wave. We're in the beginning of everything changing. The kids are all encouraged to have their own chat GBT and their own agent within what they're doing to help optimize what they're doing. She's in the beginning of this title shift that's changing. Shane was in trouble at one point for using lines of code. Now that's acceptable. Now using chat GBT to help formulate your position is more widely accepted. The teachers are understanding that it's being used. My husband's using Copilot at work, and that's understood and expected. It's no longer what it was just a few years ago where that was cheating. I mean, we did the Chat GBT episode not even a year ago, and it was like, you're cheating on Chad. And now you're not cheating on Chad. Everybody's using Chad or Anthropic or Gemini or whatever the tools are. And the universities that are getting ahead of this, and Shane is getting an AI certification with his degree in engineering, and hopefully he will be a little bit ahead of what's happening. I think that it is changing like it did with the phone, with technology, with social media at lightning speed.
They're saying if you're in medicine or law, engineering, academia, and finance, college is still going to be very necessary. The bigger institutions are going to prevail. The Harvards, the Big 10 schools, that's the middleman that doesn't have a feeding arm that takes you directly to Wall Street.
Yeah, but I'd also argue a lot of those schools that you mentioned are there for their scalability of getting into the social networks that they want to. Meaning, if you're going to Harvard, you're already in a demographic that is excelling.
But you need that personal reference. You need you graduate from a school and you have a networking group of alumni. That is one of the reasons that you go to college. You go to college to learn, but when you graduate, you're a part of something that opens doors for you. And that's not going to change. People might go in a different direction that could be skill-based or trade-based. I don't know that an AI bot is going to win a case in a courtroom.
Oh, but what it is going to do is going to take away some of the grunt work pulling data for
a clerk.
But if you never were a clerk, how do you ever get to be an attorney? To your point, if you look at other countries, affluent countries in Europe, not everybody goes to college. Only if you're at the top of your class.
You can be taught what you need to learn, and you can be told how to do what needs to be done. And we learn. And like you said, you have to be mentored and you have to walk a mile in the shoes before you can deliver a baby. You have to go through medical school. It's not instant gratification. The fact that AI can culminate a response like this that is so well articulated without walking a mile in a pair of shoes and getting a blister and giving birth and vomiting because they had a stomach virus and being empathetic, I am not willing to say we're going to be replaced, because they just aren't human.
I had a friend whose daughter was in the hospital. As soon as you are in a situation, everybody wants to Google it. Google what your symptoms are. Google it, Google it, Google it. And you would have more information than the doctor would. So you would go in armed with a conversation because you had information at your fingertips thanks to Google. Now, ChatGPT is taking that to the next level, where it can actually find the anomaly in your situation. It can say, well, that sounds like X, Y, and Z. And that makes doctors very nervous when you challenge them, because
they say don't go on and Google it.
People do, and people
and they speculate and they think that they know what it is, and they don't until a battery of tests are run.
Correct.
Blood work is done, but there's a lot of information at our fingertips. But we've proved several times AI makes mistakes. My husband was trying to figure out who AI predict was going to win the Super Bowl, and they didn't even have the right coach for the Patriots.
There's so many untruths out there, and it's really hard to fact check anymore. And part of the college experience was going onto the microfiche and going to the library and having to
research. And then that's how you learned it. And then writing the notes
really
made
hard.
you retain it. And this is a supersize me information society. You're basically spitting out what you just read, but you're not processing it. You're not committing it to memory. You're not going through the practices that it takes to learn the material,
right?
Which is happening to all of our kids that are using these little quick fixes.
It's happening to me. I can't remember things because I didn't do anything to gain the knowledge. I looked it up real quick on my phone, and it could be something as simple as a phone number to order a pizza.
Short-term memory.
Pizza. If I can't click on it, I'm like, wait, what's the phone number?
It's dumbing us down. We say it all the
time.
time.
What I don't want it to do is change what's fundamentally a rite of passage here in the United States. It was the American dream to send every kid to college. And we know now, having gone through it, not every kid is meant to go to a four-year school away from mom and dad. Some kids are meant to go local. Some kids are meant to go to 2 years and then they go to a four-year school. Some kids are meant to work underneath somebody in an apprenticeship so they can figure out what they know and like to do.
Junior college, JC is perfect for a lot of people. It's not for anybody to judge. It really is up to each individual, and it's what you can afford, and it's what sacrifices you're willing to make. It's what direction you want to go in. Yeah. Knowing those things are half the battle. And not relying on what is to come, relying on ourselves. There's not a button that goes off. The electricity get turned off. We still function. We have to rely on mankind and recognize that there's all these things that can help us become more prepared, educated, and efficient. But there's nothing that can replace human connection. There's nothing that can replace what we bring to the table. So we have to continue to work and not look for the quick fix and the shortcut, because we're only cheating ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And my husband and a team of kids are working on a social media platform. It's called Boomerang Board. And what we're trying to do is bridge the gap in this challenging time, going from high school to college, finding other peers that are in the same situation, trying to get a better temperature gauge and figure out where your best place will be. So look for that. We're coming out with that as we speak. And we're hoping to help kids make a good informed decision and help the colleges find the right candidates too. So transfer rate is high, and it's challenging when you transfer, you don't find your way when you're 17 or 18 years old heading off postgraduate.
So Boomerang Board, can they go onto a website?
Boomerangboard.com.
And it helps you figure out the perfect match for you regarding school choices and or roommates once you get there.
What we're really trying to do is be a communication platform for students and allow more awareness for community colleges, trade schools. Even like Home Depot has an apprenticeship program, really trying to expand their understanding of what's available to them and not be funneled into, feeling they have to follow in their parents' footsteps or go where everybody else is going to feel like they are getting pushed into something that's not for them, but find other like-minded kids that will challenge them in that decision-making process.
Sounds great.
If your kid is in this challenging spot, the best thing to do, first, sit down and breathe. Listen, it's a good problem to have. And AI, as much as we talk about it, as much as I'm obsessed with it, I know it's not changing anything right away, not today, not tomorrow. It's in our future, so be aware of it. Make a good financial decision when you choose to send your kid wherever they end up going. Make sure that they like what they're doing. Make sure they're excited, because they always say if you find your passion, you never work a day in your life, and school shouldn't feel like work.
And recognize that communication should really come from within. I have a friend that is going through something that could become a legal situation, and the language and the communication that's coming at her is going through ChatGPT first.
Oh, gosh.
And she is very aware that the person that she's communicating with is not putting together the emails, not writing them. So what she'll do is she'll take the actual copy that's sent to her and she'll run it through ChatGPT to see if AI was used to create the communication, and it shows you that it was. If you have a problem with the way somebody is communicating with you, if it seems like it's way beyond or elevated, or you can't understand it, or suddenly somebody's talking with language that you've never heard them use before, challenge that. Run it through ChatGPT and see, did somebody use AI to create this dialogue? Because it doesn't sound like them and it's way above their pay grade. Say, hey, all this dialogue is coming directly from AI. To me, that's not correspondence between you and I. Start calling people out. Applications, eulogies, you name it. Yeah. Do not let it depersonalize what we are good at, the skill sets that AI doesn't have, that human connection. And I know that AI is being used with college interviews, job interviews, first round interviews where they're told in an algorithm set of things to look for, and you don't make the cut and you're out. It's a frightening thing that we're up against, guys.
It is. And it also starts with social media and the filters that people put on themselves. Be your authentic self and try and find out who you are, what makes you excited and wakes you up for the day. I'm so jealous. I'll say jealous because I am, of the people that are true thespians, the people that have craft, doing things with your hands and creating something beautiful that
Artists.
can create art. Like, I do
Yes.
think that that's what's going to happen with this new resurgence of technology and information, is that the handmade thing is going to have more value because it's been diminished over the years. You kids that went to school for the arts, oh, what are you wasting your degree for on reading English literature? That sounds so beautiful to me. Being able to say that's what you did for 4 years and catapult that into something you love. I really hope that's what comes out of all this.
We're going to shift, just like COVID. Good things did come out of COVID. Look at all these restaurants and places that took their ability to have people outside and outdoor common spaces.
Yep.
We're going to adapt like we do. We'll utilize this and go in a different direction. So I think we should have a Got Grit Award winner right now that makes us feel good, because this always becomes a daunting conversation.
The name alone for our Got Grit Award winner, if it doesn't make you happy, Flav is our Got Grit Award winner this week, because when he heard what was happening with the women's hockey team, he was outraged, as he should be, as a dad of 4 girls. And he said, I'd like to invite the entire women's hockey team to Vegas to have a party, and I will pay for it all and celebrate their amazing gold medal win. And then he expanded it because he's also been a supporter of the bobsled team. He's the ambassador of the Paris Olympics. He's been involved in the Olympics forever. So he expanded this party to include all the women medalists and Paralympic medalists.
That's the way it should be. Listen, I understand that the boys hockey team hasn't done it since 1980, and it's emotional. There's a new Miracle documentary out that's supposed to be fantastic. We personally watch the movie Miracle 2 to 3 times a year in my household. I like the fact that he's involving everybody and calling to action businesses and brands that want to donate and do in-kind donations to support this big event. And we're hoping that the girls, all Paralympians and all medal winners, females, accept this wonderful opportunity to celebrate themselves.
Why wouldn't you want to celebrate these elite competitive phenoms? The sacrifices that they have made are tremendous to just be in the Olympics. So if you're on the platform, kudos to you. And if you were in the Olympics, we're still talking about you, and we can't wait till we're in 2028 LA. That's going to be so fun.
We're putting that out into the universe. We have mentioned that
putting it
lacrosse
out there.
is going to be in the Olympics in 2028.
Yes.
And that brings me to the most perfect song of all. And the name of the song, if you don't understand what it means, this is a great time to put it on your radar. I don't want to give it away. I'm going to read the lyrics first, and then we're going to discuss the name or the title of the song, because it is the most important part of the song. So many times it happens too fast. You trade your passion for your glory. Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. It's the eye of the tiger. It's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night, and he's watching us all with the eye of the tiger.
Oh my God, Rocky.
And it was song by Survivor. But the eye of the tiger is probably the grittiest thing of all, because if you don't have the eye of the tiger, you don't set your sight on what you want. And that is how you get to your dream and to your goal. You got to have the eye of the tiger. And I think all Olympic athletes have the eye of the tiger. We know they have grit. So we're going to leave you with that song today, and ask yourself if you have the eye of the tiger. And if you don't, listen to the song and see if you feel it rising up inside of you.
Yeah. And there's Olympic athletes that are training right now for 2028, and they have the eye of the tiger.
Well, they sure do.
We thank you so much for listening and being a supporter of Girls Gone Gritty.
Team USA all the way. Everyone, not just the men, all of them.
Women rule.
Remember, the word men is in woman.
Yes.
Women.
Peace out.
See you Thursday.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Girls Gone Gritty.
Visit us on Instagram, Facebook, and now TikTok.
If this episode hits home, share it with someone who needs to get gritty.
Own it and put the it in grit.
See you next episode.